Oh, there you go.
Is everybody ready?
We have a quorum.
Cool idea.
So I'd like to call the Tuesday, June 11th, 2019 meeting of the Coastside County Water District Board of Directors to order. Joanne, could you please call the roll?
Of course. Director Larimer is absent. Vice President Michelson?
Yes.
Director Feldman?
Here.
Director Reynolds is absent. President Coverdell?
Yes, here. And Vice President Michelson, could you lead us in the pledge?
Wait, I can find a corner here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. So we will open up with public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak? Gina? Can you take a speaker slip? Okay, all right. Just checking. Consent calendar, I guess that Director Reynolds reviewed and communicated with Joanne Whelan. Could you report what Director Reynolds?
Yes, Director Reynolds reviewed the monthly financial claims and said that everything looked to be in order.
Great. Are there any items that the other Board of Director members would like to pull from the consent calendar?
No.
I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
No, seconded.
It's been moved by Vice President Michelson and seconded by Director Feldman to approve the consent calendar as presented. John, could you
Yes.
take the roll?
Vice President Michelson?
Yes.
Director Feldman?
Yes.
President Coverdell?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Meetings attended and director comments. I don't know if I can actually repeat on that yet.
What?
I'm going to wait. I'd like to move item 5 to after item 6. Is that okay with you guys?
Absolutely.
Is that okay with you? Move item 5, take item 6 first.
Okay.
Will that be okay, or do you need a reason?
No.
Okay.
Be
So all
interesting.
three of us agree, and
Fine.
that's adequate. Okay, so item 6, A, creation of strategic planning advisory committee and appointment of directors to serve on the committee. Dave, would you like to take it away?
Sure. At the May 14th meeting, you brought up the subject of the planning priorities established by the board in March 2017. Appropriately and indirectly chided the staff for not doing anything about that and suggested the formation of a strategic planning committee. We need a little help on that.
What does chided mean, actually?
And you and Director Reynolds volunteered to serve on the committee.
Correct.
And in accordance with the process that was established earlier this year, that the board votes on appointments to committees, we agendized this so that you could formalize the appointment, I guess the creation of the committee. This is an ad hoc and not an advisory committee.
It's an
And-
advisory committee, same thing, advisory
Yeah,
and ad hoc.
advisory,
Same
okay.
thing, yeah.
Not a standing committee.
Correct.
It's an advisory committee, not a standing committee. So the recommended action will create the the advisory committee and appoint President Coverdell and Director Reynolds to serve on it.
Any comments?
Nope.
Motion?
Sounds like a good idea.
Anybody like to make a motion?
We need a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so moved then.
I seconded.
So it's been moved by Vice President Michelson, seconded by Director Feldman, that we create a strategic planning advisory committee and appoint President Coverdell and Director Reynolds to serve on the committee. Roll call, please.
Vice President Michelson?
Yes.
Director Feldman?
Yes.
President Coverdell?
Well, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, approve the salary schedule with a cost of living adjustment increase for fiscal year 2019-2020, effective July 1, 2019. Dave, would you again, or
That's Mary's.
Mary, sorry.
Okay,
Mary,
so
could you
our,
take away?
our MOU with the Teamsters requires a cost of living increase every July 1st. And so we give that to, we have that go across to all the employees. And this year's cost of living increase is 3.3%. So we have created a salary schedule in order to comply with CalPERS. CalPERS requires that we have a salary schedule that's approved by the Board of Directors each year. So I am recommending that the board approve the salary schedule and the increase of 3.3%.
The MOU uses the cost of living
Yeah,
adjustment. Tell me, I
oh,
forgot
it's-
how it was constructed.
It's calculated using the CPIW for San Francisco, Oakland, February to February
And that's how
timeframe.
it's phrased, that's how it's carried in the cost of living.
And that's how it's written in
In the
the
MOU.
in
Okay,
the
no, so you're
MOU.
just following the precepts of
Exactly.
the agreement. Okay, that's what I need to know.
Is there a floor or a ceiling in that, or is it just straight cost of living?
Cost of living.
Okay, so all right. So sometimes they build in floors and ceilings.
Yeah, in the previous MOU, there have been some adjustments on top of the cost of living because of.
Yeah. No, I remember
But
that.
with this, with the MOU that we have for the current period, it was 5 years, went in place last year, but it is.
Yeah.
How forward planning and budget construction for the next year took this into account.
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
I had planned 3.8%.
Okay,
That was
no,
what
I
was
figured it
last
would
year,
be-
and so we're at
Okay,
3.3.
so it was already in
Big-
Included.
place in the forward budget. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. I'm fine.
I'm good.
So I think we've got to go through the motion steps.
Okay, go through the motions, literally. So moved.
I'll second the motion.
So it has been moved by Vice President Michelson, seconded by Director Feldman, that we approve the salary schedule of the cost of living adjustment increase for FY 2019-2020, which will become effective on July 1, 2019, which is coming our direction pretty quickly. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Director Michelson?
Yes.
Director Feldman?
Yes,
And President Coverdell?
Yes. Thank you. So now, back to number 5. If in fact an ad hoc committee had a committee meeting prior to being certified by the board, we wouldn't want to report on that then, would we?
Well, any two directors can get together without violating the Brown Act.
Cool.
So technically, what you did was you got together as two directors and not as your committee, which was formed tonight. Even though
Great.
you had every intention of creating at the last meeting. So I think it'd be okay to report on what the two directors, if in fact you got together,
We did.
talked about. That
We
would be
did.
okay.
So I can tell you that one of the most interesting things for me is I always knew that Dr. Reynolds was a really smart guy. I always knew that he knew a lot about water. And I always knew that he was very highly educated about water and what's going on in the California water world. But he began to produce a report, which we're going to come back after we review and do some work on it, and report to the board, I hope quickly, maybe next meeting. He did a great job outlining future water sources and talking about items that we are all very interested in terms of our water future. And I was extremely impressed with the report that he has started. It's not a completed report, it's not 100%, it's not totally thorough, but as a startup, I think it'll be a really great tool for the board.
Good.
And so I was delighted to tell Mary and Dave that we might be bringing it forward, and I could tell that they were curious, so I thought that was really good. And but I want to make sure that it's in a good form before we bring it in. And now that we're an official committee, we can work more actively and aggressively on it. But I'm quite excited, and I'm excited to work with Glenn on it.
Good.
I'm just really
he knows
impressed.
his business.
Yeah, really impressed.
Technical question, the process for the committee presenting that, well, how does that work in terms of, do they get that into the next meeting's items, agenda items, et cetera, how does that come forward?
Right,
And
so,
how does Dave and Mary get involved, how does that all play into our process for presenting to us and then discussing it?
right, so it's really up to the committee.
Okay.
Is the short answer to that. The advisory committee is a committee that's created. Advisories committees aren't subject to the Brown Act because they're not standing committees that have regular meeting schedules, and it's for a limited and specific purpose. So that's one of the exceptions to the Brown Act requirements. So the committee can meet, and they can also meet with staff. And my understanding is staff generally would be involved in committee meetings, at least standing committee meetings, but it's totally up to the committee. And then the committee and staff or the committee can determine how it needs to come back to
To
the
be
board.
presented.
But because it's not subject to the Brown Act, right, we need to be careful about being sure that whatever's done complies with the Brown Act. And so at some point, it would need to come in front of the board for the board to discuss. And the timing of that and the process for that is up to the committee. And obviously, I'm certainly happy to help be sure that we comply with the legal requirements.
Yeah, so I can tell you that the process that we're considering is to try to schedule a meeting in the next couple weeks with Mary and
Sure.
with Dave and discuss the things that we think are significant and take input from staff because we want to be sure that, they're going to have a lot of clever ideas and input. And then we will come back if we're prepared. We'll put it on the agenda and hopefully present it to the whole board. So that's the plan, or our plan anyway.
Okay, just
Oh, it's good
checking
looking.
how,
I think it's just great, and yeah, it's a good time to bring it up. We don't have such a
it's
busy
just different
schedule.
than, because normally the staff requests that the committee meets, it's usually standing committees. I don't know about advisory committees. And so it's working the other way now. It just seems to be. If I'm-
Yeah, and that's up to the
Okay,
committee.
no, I'm just asking. That's usually the other direction. That's okay.
Don't you love it when the directions switch? It's so
No, it's
exciting.
fine. I just think it's important to keep them in the loop too, because they got to do a lot of the work with it when it happens. Yes.
So, that's the report I have. Any other meetings or any
No.
director comments?
Well, it's not a meeting thing, it's a comment thing.
Oh,
It's
good.
like when you go to do your ski reports. No, I had the opportunity recently to spend a little time in Israel. And while there, I'd been there before, about 10, 11 years ago, but this time, when I went, I was more attuned
So
to
water conservation, yeah.
things like about water, because I know Israel has some interesting water issues. And all I wanted to do was share a few things that I learned about the way they operate, and just for your edification and information. This country, about 9 million people, which is 60% desert, and they've always had a water problem. It's sort of part of goes with the territory, as they say. However, where there's a will, there's a way. And what they seem to have attempted there was to take advantage of their groundwater sources, their mountain runoff sources. They have a small lake, and their aquifers. However, it doesn't fill the bill. So they have, over time, built a total of 5 desalination plants. And one more is on the way, and another one is being planned. And that will generate for them, at the end of the day, approximately 80% of their potable water, which to me is pretty interesting, actually. So they've really made an effort to take advantage of the ocean, the Mediterranean, as it were. So it's colorful water as well as being the Mediterranean. As far as agriculture, they grow all of their own fruits and vegetables. I didn't really understand this, but they don't really import anything. They do all of their own growth of all product. 85% of all the water used for agriculture there is recycled or repurposed or reused. So they've really made a significant inroad in using what they have to get the water they need. As a matter of fact, they make enough of it so that they can actually sell some to Jordan, which they have an agreement with, and to the Palestinian territories as well, which is an interesting story of its own. But nonetheless, they are planning for a long-term growth, which requires that they go almost totally with desalinated water, desalination, and with recycled water use for their agriculture. And I thought it was pretty impressive. I didn't really look at it that way 10 years, 11 years ago. This time I did. And I was quite impressed. They have a system there where all the water transport pipes are color-coded. So if you drive through some of the areas in Israel, you see red pipes that are the ones that are taking the recycled water to where they're going. In other places, there are blue pipes. In other places, there are green pipes. So they got it all coded and all set up so that people can tell what's in the pipes that are running. And these are big pipes. I mean, these are serving the entire population. So I was very interested and impressed and thought to myself, where there's a will, there's a way. When you got to do something, you do it. And I was quite taken with the desalinization. They showed one near one of the locations that I went to, and they're pretty significant plants. I mean, they're not small-time stuff. So that's how they're working their problems, and they've really made an effort, and I think they're probably covered going forward. But I just think it was quite impressive to me. I'm sure others do it too, but I haven't ever seen it to that degree done anywhere. When we talk about desal and using water and recycle, that's small-time stuff compared to what they had to come through to put their act together. So I just a little information.
Do they talk about per acre foot cost or anything?
No,
Get
they
any
didn't know.
cost?
These were the guides from the
Oh,
tours.
yeah.
They weren't getting into the technical details.
Darn it.
I think it's manageable. I don't think that they're out of
Interesting to know.
sight with their cost base. You can read it online, but I didn't really get into it from that perspective. It sounds like it's affordable, that they get it done, that the taxes pay for it, and that that's one of their key criteria and one of their priorities in their strategic view of what they have to do for water going forward. And I was quite impressed with what, I never knew it was quite that significant in terms of how they use their sea, the Mediterranean, or their recycled facilities, actually. So, just so you know, I just thought it'd be an interesting point. Any question?
No.
It's just idle information.
Thanks.
So we'll hear from our Superintendent of Operations, James Durbin, please.
Evening, board members. Another busy month. We got 5 hydrants in, total of 50 for the fiscal year to date. We conducted load bank testing at all the generators, installed the remaining 10 new water quality sampling stations. I'm sure you've seen them around town. They kind of blend in, they're so clean. Dustin Johns passed his cross-connection control program specialist exam. He's been helping a lot with the backflow program, and this really helps bring his skills up to a higher level so he can make more independent decisions when looking at backflows and if they should be relocated or replaced, removed, etc. Deniston's been running at 900 gallons a minute up until a couple of days ago. Leia's been planting in the heat and whatnot, so we had to taper off a little bit, but we're at 750 now. And it's been a good 2-month run. I think the treatment staff did an outstanding job. I'm sure Dave and Mary agree that we've hit new milestones with that treatment plant, and we've learned a lot. Learned a lot in the process. So the main sources were Deniston Reservoir and the Pilarcitos Lake. We got Hazen's tank removed and cleared the site. We installed a new VFD on the Deniston raw water pump number 2. That caused us to shut down Deniston for a couple of days last month, but it's all fixed now. All 3 of the clay valve pump control valves are installed at Crystal Springs now. They're operating nicely. We pulled the Pilarcitos well 1 due to some low yields there to camera the screens, and we're going to get some recommendations from the camera and the well firm. We rebuilt the Crystal Springs pressure reducing valve that's in the Pilarcitos Canyon. Bell Moon pipeline will start soon. We don't have a date yet. Casa del Mar project and the Ferdinand pipeline project, notice to proceed have been issued for both. PRV submittals have been in and returned for Casa del Mar. Ferdinand pre-construction is next Tuesday. Alves recoating project, specifications and plans are complete. Half Moon Bay Tank 1 PAX mixer is installed. We're working on the 3 Half Moon Bay tanks installation. And we hired a new distribution supervisor, and we have the nice opportunity for them to overlap. It's Darren Sturdivant. He used to work with Andrini, and he started Monday. So we're going to have a whole month of coverage with with John Davis and him working together, and I think he's going to be an outstanding addition to the crew. He's got a lot of talent to offer, and he's going to help us a lot.
Andrini mad at us?
What's his name?
I don't think so. He's on vacation. I don't think he's really worried about it right now. But
He's just not back.
I will talk. I will talk to him when he gets
What's
back.
his name, I'm sorry.
Darren Sturtevant. Darren
Okay, thank you. What
Sturtevant,
was he doing for Andrew?
superintendent for construction projects.
Oh,
For years.
He's been doing underground construction for about
For
20
years.
years.
For
He's
years.
really good.
no, I'm just,
Oh, no, I'm just helping you understand who he is.
And he's a nice guy, and I think he's going to be a great fit for the team. And everyone knows him, so it was a real nice transition. If you have any
What'd you do in
questions.
the other 3 weeks?
What's that?
What'd you do in the other 3 weeks?
How so?
Oh, I thought that was just 1 week report.
Oh, okay.
right.
The heat's getting to me. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the draw there.
No, it's a little
You
obscure on
guys
the
are back,
comments.
you're backing off, I'm taking it easy this month.
It's the heat. You know,
It is.
Half Moon Bay locals don't do well over 70. Thank you.
Neither the ones from Pacifica. Did we skip, did I
Yeah,
skip
you
general
kinda
manager?
Yeah, you did.
What's together?
Yeah, it
They
didn't
would've
really
gave that.
appear on the agenda, so that's okay.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Well,
General
yeah,
manager.
not a bulleted item, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a
We all know
bullet
you're
in there.
number
Well, he's
7.
got a report.
Okay, now that we know you don't have a silver bullet.
All right, so,
Back and right up, sorry, I jumped.
I
on
just,
that. I was
there's
gonna
only
put-
one thing
I
on
was
my...
gonna put Kathleen before both of you. guys.
Yeah, well, I'll mention Kathleen. She asked to be excused tonight because she said she'd been really busy but didn't have anything new to report to the board. She didn't know it was going to be this hot, so she was kind of lucky that she got to miss the meeting. So she sends her regards. I put this in here because I just wanted to let the board know that on schedule, the recruitment for the new general manager went live on June 7th.
Oh, wow.
So it's out there, it's on our website, they're advertising it in all the places they said they were going to. I haven't heard a progress report, but lots of people wait till the end to apply, so
When's the close date again?
I think it's 30
July-
days, so July 7th or 8th.
July
7th, I think,
7th is the next milestone.
or 5, July, must be July 8th,
Well,
that's a
when the
Monday.
July 8th.
advertising starts.
Yeah. July 8th's the Monday, and that's when it closes.
Well, so now you know why I skipped him, because, we're a little unhappy about the fact that we're having to advertise for a new general manager.
That is the story.
Okay, director agenda items or requests for future
The
board?
final,
Oh, back
no, it's
up.
okay, the final job. Joshua was well done, I thought.
I thought.
I thought it was, I liked the way that it presented Half Moon Bay and our attributes and the pictures and the water. So I thought they did a good job of giving us a choice and for us to select from the work of that. I thought it was quite good.
I really liked it. I nicknamed that one the Andy of Mayberry.
The what?
The Andy of Mayberry
Okay.
advertisement.
Thanks, I'm sorry. I just
No, it's great.
wanted to comment positively.
You good, Chris?
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Good.
So, director agenda items, requests for future board meetings. Anything? Okay, so I would like to adjourn this meeting into closed session. Conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.9D, subsection 1. The name of the case in the matter of the appeal regarding post-retirement employment of Glenna F. Lombardi and Coastside County Water District Board of Administration, California Public Employees Retirement System, agency case 2018-1114, OAH number 201-902-1082.
So if we take a break for about 5 minutes?
Yeah, that'd be great.
we can let
That'd be great.
Steve